DM, what happened last session?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
On the previous episode.
That's not an episode. It is!
Oh, strange.
Okay, sorry, right, last session.
Last episode. Sorry, I have to say that again.
Last session, yes. Did I make notes on it? Did I bring my notes on it? Different questions.
Naïlo came to the realization on how barbaric Tyler and Moxie
That
are.
is completely the wrong place to start a summary. And I did bring my notes. Hopefully I
Last
updated them.
session, I think we ended with slitting Arif's throat. No, it was Prince Faisal who we killed.
No.
Oh yeah. The pinnacle point of last episode was...
Poor notes.
Wasn't it like diluting like Warham's head?
Yeah.
We're so good at recapping.
Oh no, the pinnacle part of last
Okay,
session
so I didn't write
was
it up, but that's fine.
Daggett sauteing Lord Warham's eyes. That was the pinnacle.
That was pretty good.
That was the most important part.
You agreed happened when I wasn't in the room. Okay.
We make up Dagger's lore. Only us, not the dungeon master.
I like that you've taken the character away from me.
You can't reclaim that.
Okay, so the start of last session, I believe you began your attack on Zonk. You went into the town. Troop samurais scattered.
Sorry to interrupt you, but just
We went into a mine.
she's trying to tell it in chronological order.
Oh, sorry.
Last session you started your attack on the town. We went into the mine. Okay, yes we did. This is in shambles already.
I exist.
Okay, last session, you started your attack on Zonk. Troop samurais scattered with a few threats of Arton that Naïlo discouraged, but
Still happened.
Megan. In any case, they weren't following your orders. They have their own leader. You headed into the town, posing as slaves and slavers, respectively. Naïlo, you split off from the group and hit Moxie how many times?
5.
5 times for speaking out of turn. And got to the slave market very convincingly.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're gonna criticize someone else for being a bad slave owner, you gotta do a good job yourself.
Tyler, you were also, again, not a great slave owner. When it came to giving Sealy and Dagger cover, so Helry did it for you.
You're a muscular human man. What can't you...
What can't I do?
Yeah, you beat that
The
slave, they're gonna
field.
feel it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, Tyler's reactions were a lot like that. So Helra, fairly no-nonsense human dragon knight who was undercover at the time, helped you and covered... Didn't hit either of them, but they weren't speaking.
Oh, weakly.
You all got to the market, waited until various different slaves were shown. Ivatordo citizens were shown, and then that's the point you decided to attack Warham, who's presiding over the proceedings. Tyler was halfway across the market, and Naïlo dragged Moxie towards the stage.
Yeah, and greatly hated
Your
that.
first turn standing next to Warham and his gladiator saw the two of you take significant
Curb
amounts of
stompers.
damage.
We got curb stomped.
It
Yes.
was all under control, if I played that slightly differently.
So it wasn't under control.
HP at one point.
I didn't have one, I had
And
like...
given the two of you were handcuffed, you were sharing movement anytime you moved. Tyler took this cue of you rather blatantly trying to stab, or possibly, I think it was trying to stab the first at the start of the
I
fight.
actually got him once.
You got him once, yeah. You stabbed Lord Warham. Tyler was like, wait, and started running towards you, but didn't get there quite in time. You started fighting him and his gladiator on the stage, and then moved off the stage. A couple of guards came, but you had a couple of allies help by killing them.
Dagger.
Yes, Dagger brutally murdered someone in one hit.
Man, I'm just hyped about Dawn.
That was pretty cool.
If they begin with a D and they're a female tiefling.
Dagger
There's a lot of female
Dawn.
tieflings given they're a minority. Dawn killed one, and I think Sealy killed one, and they killed some more nearby guards. Helra was dealing with guards a bit further away. And then there were a lot. And then while you continued your fight with Moxie getting hit by rage and starting to miss most of her attacks, And Tyler arriving, getting hit by rage, killing a guard, and then killing both of them.
No.
I took down the gladiator,
yeah.
thank you very much.
You took down
Almost single-handedly, I might add.
Almost single-handedly you
fine.
took down the gladiator. After there was no vocal acceptance of your surrender. Tyler killed Lord
Beat him
Warham
out to
after
death.
you beat him to death in the darkness after you made a sphere of darkness that followed your sword that levitates.
Thanks for the cover.
A lot of the guards were confused about the darkness, and when you put yours away, you saw that a lot of the tieflings from Troop Sunrise had made similar ones. So the courtyard was quite full of it, as well as people on fire.
They're just copycats. I am an original.
The true leader of
Then
Troop
you got one of the
Sunrise.
guards to show you around, whilst the other stabilised their friend.
The one that we should have killed.
The ones that you generously let them stabilise, and you moved on.
Yeah.
Tyler was raging and angry, and yelled at you a couple of times. You took Lord Warham's head to the stage and tried to get everyone's attention. Then Moxie decided to yell in thaumaturgy.
It worked.
3 times as loud to get everyone's attention, to get everyone to stand down. And then did it again in Infernal. And so half the town's on fire at this point, basically. Well, not half, but yes, half the town's on fire from Troop Sunrise, presumably. And a lot of people are on fire, and there's a fair amount of corpses in this courtyard.
Do you think you just
and
plunge
then-
Zonk into like hell?
It was hell on earth, yeah.
It was hell on earth. And then Moxie's yelling in Infernal triggered a lot more yelling in Infernal from every single other Troop Sunrise member around.
It was great.
And everyone who wasn't a tiefling or used to Infernal had severe problems with their hearing. Just slightly. In Hellria's case, when they came up to staggered up to talk to Tyler and slip off, their ears were, well, her ears were bleeding. Actually bleeding. And then the 3 of you took Lord Warham's head with you, and went to go find the slaves who had been taken offside, following the guard. You went down, they'd already been rescued essentially by dawn. You met Gazelle there, who told you rumours of the mines being possibly a hub for necromancy. So there were the Evertordo citizens and also a couple of extra rescued slaves who went out to the hideout. You then travelled an hour or so out of town to the mine, holding Lord Warham's head still. And then you got the front guards to find you the main owner of the mine, well, overseer of the mine, who'd worked with Lord Warham directly. And they agreed to return the remaining soldiers of Evertordo to you in return for not starting an armed conflict.
Wise.
And the 3 of you took that bargain and left after... I don't believe you gave them your names.
No,
they
it
had
was-
Moxie.
But they already had Moxie's
Yeah.
from the one
Moxie, and then there was
I had 2 pseudonyms.
Holly,
They were very convincing, I might add.
Holly and Daisy.
Holly
And I think you were
Daisy.
Brian.
I was Brian.
Brian, Holly,
To
Daisy.
be fair, Brian's not too far from Tyler, honestly.
Precisely, that's why.
And they weren't really convinced by Daisy
How
being a
dare
dark
they?
elf name.
What about Holly?
Or Holly.
That's spiky.
But let it go.
I don't think Holly grows underground.
I don't think Holly grows in the desert, but we're ignoring that.
It's a lovely
Is there a
name.
nickname for
It's
Papa Moms that we can call you?
Maybe they wanted an exotic name for their child.
Death.
Death. Cool.
This is death.
Right along with Dagger.
And then you went back to the hideout of Troop Sunrise nearby. You checked on the camel and it was still alive.
Let's go.
Much to Robyn's dismay.
Well, based off my generosity.
I don't think it would make it back to Faisal without the camel, quite frankly.
Well,
Not enough water.
and so you sat around. Everyone's mostly in here in their groups. Yeah. Everyone's mostly in in their groups. Troop Sunrise made their own thing, and Naïlo gave them the head after Moxie was distasteful over it. You met Dawn, who previously shouted at everyone to shut up earlier, which had some effect, and Gazelle. And there were generally the Evertordo soldiers and citizens who'd reunited, as well as the recently freed slaves who they'd
We have like a mini army.
decided to enclose in their ranks, yes. So with you, you have, and this is the new information of which I've totaled up exactly how many people you have with you.
A mini army.
There are 6 soldiers, 5 of which are human, 1 of which is a Gotor.
Mm-hmm.
You have Gazelle and Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
You have you 3, which is Naïlo, Tyler, and Moxie.
Yeah. I said 9.
You have 7 rescued slaves.
18.
Yeah.
A Knoll, one male tiefling, which is strange, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're like
And 5 apparently humans.
That's 25.
25. Fuck.
And then 9 of Atordo civilians.
So that's 34.
Okay.
Of which 3 go short, 6 are humans.
Let's see how many spells I'm gonna have to burn. I mean, it's gonna be every day for sure anyway. Let's see if we can make it back even with it.
You have the camel, which has a barrel of water, a couple of water skins between you, and if need be, you can possibly ask if anyone else has anything.
They're slaves. They're probably not
Most
happy.
of them.
I can feed 15 humans a day.
What?
Okay, how many did we have?
Oh, we're fucked. So,
How many rations?
We could go to that one place and see if the griffin's still alive and use it for meat.
Well, we can take levels of exhaustion and still survive. It's just a matter of...
We can see if that griffin's rotting or not and eat that.
Oh my god, who's taking exhaustion and when? Alright, Naïlo is willing to get probably as far as level 3 exhaustion, so first 3 days doesn't need food or water.
I'm pretty okay.
I have... Okay, what are your... Okay, I'm gonna total everything up. How many rations do you all have?
Okay, I gotta check for this now. I think Moxie has like
I have 7.
Okay, that's not a lot.
out of what she's had to use because she wasn't given anything or what she had to buy herself. I think she has 1.
So we go back into the town, right? And we steal.
How many people are there?
34.
People currently travelling with you, and excluding whatever Troop Sunrise is doing, because you haven't asked them yet.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
You've got 27.
20. Okay.
Oh, that's
This is including the 3 of you at least.
What about that male tiefling? Can we bump him off to Troop Sunrise, see what happens?
Okay.
Do you think Troop Sunrise accepts male members?
Bump him off, just see what happens.
That means we just need to feed 12 people per day with our rations. I have 36 on me because I did pick up some from the town last time.
And you know that it will take you, if you go... Originally it took you from Faisal, purely based on travel, to get to Zonk. Let's see. It took you...
We're fucked.
7 days.
8 days of travel will get some people. If we can probably. This is like, I have to do weird maths to figure this out exactly, but
8 days travel for 27 people.
But for sure, if I'm using up 2 third-level spell slots every day, and we consume all our rations, each person will arrive with 2 levels of exhaustion.
Do you want to go with that?
But, depending on how you're willing to roll it, these 2 and Dawn take no levels of exhaustion, and then I take a 3rd one. Does that kind of equal out for you?
I mean, we can buy them. How many rations are we willing to buy?
Dawn and those 2 can take no levels of exhaustion, everyone else can take 2nd level. Because I'll say that Dawn had some food on her.
That's cool.
Because she wasn't actually an ex-slave.
Yeah.
So she had some resources.
Okay, so...
Now water.
Water. So I can, with water, feed 15 humanoids a day.
Wait, I also
that's-
have my hard-boiled sweets.
You do.
I have
but
4
don't
of
think
them.
I don't think that'll...
That's not rations.
But, you mentioned, well, we've got a camel.
Yes, with a barrel of water.
We don't... How much water is that?
A barrel of water
Enough
is...
for 12 people for a week? If we ration it out?
How many days is a full water container for one person?
You look up, what's it called? Water things. Water skins. And
Water
I'll
skins.
decide barrel.
Water skins are worth 2 rations of water. Or 2 days worth of water.
Okay.
And I have myself, I think, like 12 days worth of water on me. For one person, that is.
Yeah.
I have.
think I have.
No, I have 8 days worth of water.
So you can do yourself.
Yeah, I have more water than I have food.
Well, that's good. I didn't write down how much water. I just put some rations.
Okay, so you don't have water then.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been
I
going
have.
straight from the barrel.
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
I'll say that the barrel will do 9 people, all the way back.
I have 2 flasks.
So that's 3.
You can have some of my flasks.
I have to check the rules on when you don't drink.
Well, if you don't drink in a day, if you don't drink or eat in a day, you take a level of exhaustion. But I don't think you take one if you don't do both. I think it's maxed at 1.
But I have there's specific desert things in water, which I need to check.
Great.
Are you keeping track of this?
Yes, we've got 3
Good.
people we need to account for.
Okay.
You can do investigation.
Okay, you need to make if you don't have available water in extreme heat, which the desert counts, by the way, you need to make con saving throws. Or gain levels of exhaustion, I think.
Okay, that's less dangerous than food, which I'm pretty sure is just a
It
slap.
says... Oh, it says every hour. Oh dear.
Every hour.
You disadvantage if you're in medium or heavy armor or heavy clothing. Resistance or immunity to fire damage automatically succeed. You have... with you have a whole 2 tieflings. No, wait, 4 of your tieflings.
4.
So they won't suffer from not drinking.
With what we've got currently on us, we can make it.
Rooms like this.
Is this just Naïlo taking inventory in the middle of the night? Like, okay, how much have
Probably.
you got?
Or discussing it with
Well,
them.
that's
We
really
can make it.
Well, people
Tiefling's fire resistance suddenly came in very useful.
Yeah,
So I think that means you're one of the people who doesn't get to drink sometimes.
yeah. But we're gonna make it if you don't
makes it
drink.
easier.
So Gazelle, Dawn,
That
male
male
tiefling, and
that
you.
male tiefling is useful.
Do we give them a name?
Brian.
No. I refuse to
It's
give
the
them a name.
fabled
Brian.
Brian.
Brian. Brian.
Okay, I'll come
Nice
up with a
modern
name.
names.
Brian.
Hubert.
It's not Brian, it's Brian.
I think not. They're just called Ember.
Rage. We already.
Embers.
What
Um,
Table? Table's a good name.
They have a name.
Sturdy, 4-legged.
What about shield? Just to go beside dagger. We have dagger and shield.
Actually, shield is fine.
Oh my god.
Fated lovers, dagger and shield.
We want a sword. Moving on. Before we get any more named after weapons. So that's all the people you're travelling with accounted for.
Yes.
In terms of food and water. I don't think anyone will have armour, so that should help you.
Good.
Some of them are in varying stages of wounded, but
That's fine. During the night, I'll just kind of like go from person to person, cure wounds. Willing to burn probably all of my first level spell slots, but none of my second or third.
yeah,
So
right.
4 people per night, I can heal up a bit.
And even if they've got more irritating long-term ones, which you don't get as adventurers, but clearly civilians can get, between them, how many people you've got, they should be able to support themselves enough that they can travel at a reasonable enough pace.
Cool deal.
After all, you have 4 Gotors who can, if necessary,
Speed walking.
relatively help with, can carry above their carry weight for stuff. So
Okay.
they're not camel tours. They can't carry people unless they're children.
Fair.
But okay, so I think back from Zonk is possible, which is good.
Let's go.
You haven't talked to Troop Sunrise about their plans yet, which you might want to do. At the moment, you've just had this is overnight.
Yeah.
You've just gone to sleep after accepting an apprenticeship offer from Naïlo. When you're sleeping, you have a dream.
Oh god. No, I don't like that.
You don't
Phrase.
like that?
I
Well,
don't like
you-
that phrase. While you're sleeping.
Don't worry, it's not
you have a
PTSD
dream.
nightmares. I haven't decided to factor in trauma mechanically yet.
Trauma, your trauma is those mirrors. The mirrors. The mirror men. Not the moon.
If you want a nightmare
Cold
in a minute,
sweat.
I can do what you want.
Cold sweat.
Go
The
for it.
mills.
Yeah, but first we're doing you.
Yeah.
You're having a rather odd dream.
Oh,
You're in a bit of desert you've never... I mean, it all looks pretty similar, but you've not specifically recalled this bit of it.
That grain of sand.
There's... You're like, dunes. Must have moved around. Generally in Verlaba, there's a couple of fixed mining towns, and the rest are all shifting settlements as the sand moves. It's quite cool, but... So I thought you were going to choose
It
something.
makes people who make maps very angry.
Very angry. Map makers are very angry. And some people use sand skiffs to get around that they live in. But so you're standing. It looks a bit like Verlaba, but from here you can't see the line of mountains that encroaches on half of Verlaba. The bits that aren't sand dunes are basically mountain. Sandstone mountains, not quite the full-on mountains further away, which occasionally have glints of red above them. But there's a full moon above you, and I mean at the moment you're standing there. You have your clothes, but none of your stuff is currently here, and none of your teammates are.
Alone at last. No.
Yes,
She was like,
it's a fairly pleasant breeze.
where am I? Just like,
You look around, and as you do, you notice something coming down from the sky. There's a dark figure with silver hair you'd recognise to be dark elf reminiscent. Wearing no clothes.
holy!
Dancing down as a sort of shadowy figure from the moon.
I'm not looking. You're fine.
They have a presence about them that is... They are not immortal. They are not... You've met a fair amount of people, and they have a distinctly different feel to them. They're a magical presence that you can't quite place, but was almost... If you had to compare it to anything, you almost get the sense of it being a bubble that's similar to what Naïlo created when she danced around her sword. There was an almost second presence. You didn't put much thought to it at the time. You thought, well, that's some superstition. Your group is quite superstitious, but standing before you now is definitely some kind of magic. This is not just a idle fantasy. They reach out their hands, and in them appears a white-coloured bleached sword, the same colour as the moon. What do you want it to look like?
Oh god, this is difficult.
The features, by the way, that are always the same, is it's always slightly crescent-shaped, and on one end it will say your name in Sylvan, and the other your rank within the church in Sylvan.
Oh god, okay. I think Moxie likes just like
I've got a picture of my sleeves.
Well, that's what Naïlo's looks like. Yours
Yeah.
doesn't have to look like that.
yeah, no, I think just this is difficult, this is hard. I think Moxie likes cool swords. But this is probably thinking up. This is my cool sword. How can I make it mine?
Okay.
It matches the colour of like her eyes, which is like a goldish colour. So
Okay, so it's mostly silvery, but
like
oh,
the gold parts.
you've got a sort of crescent blade, but it's enough you could definitely use this as you would your rapier. On the handle, there's a sort of gold sheen speckled on as if like glitter.
Yeah.
And there's a guard to the handle that is shaped the same as your horns.
Whoa! Oh, she's like badass.
It's held out to you.
She's like, grabs it. She's like,
The figure acknowledges you and disappears, and when you wake up in the morning, in your hand, there's a sword.
damn.
This functions like a rapier, but it does
Slashing instead of piercing.
slashing instead of piercing damage. You can add it to your inventory. You can't read the words on it, but there are words on it. And this sword looks a lot like Naïlo's. Beyond obvious ways it's not. Before we go to Moxie freaking out about a new sword and showing it to everyone, probably very happily, you want to dream?
Yeah, give me another mirror maze nightmare.
You have a
Wake up in cold sweat like.
you have a dream and it starts with mirrors. Mirrors everywhere. This is far too reminiscent of the last few nights of restless sleep. This is a normal nightmare, by the way. No god messages. In it, you turn around and you see yourself in the mirror, but not as you are now, as you were. And there's a hand on your shoulder that you can't quite make out whose it is. And you go towards it, and the path cuts away, and you're redirected into the mirror maze.
Nothing scares Tyler more like mirrors.
And you see yourself as you are. The blood from last night, where you killed Vorham, which you can't wash off very easily in a desert, still on you, holding your maul, and then the mirror you moves forward, smashes the glass, and goes for a killing blow. You wake up.
Oh, fuck me.
Same time, the both of you.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking going to you that way.
I see your dream went well.
Now I don't have
fucking
now I don't have to like circle you and look at your sword. I have my own sword. Piece of circle.
Moxie has a sword that is pale silver with a glittery, almost glittery, shimmering gold handle.
Look, Daniel, I'm better than you.
And a handle shaped like their horns, slightly curved like a crescent shape, but a rapier, clearly.
Who the fuck did you have to kill to get that?
No one. A naked thing visited me at night.
So she accepted you.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. I was like, thanks. And they were like, and then they, ooh, went away.
Why do you get good dreams? With a fucking sword!
Yeah. I don't know how this works. Did it just materialize in my hand while I was sleeping? Did someone creep up on me and while I was sleeping and just slot it in my hand?
What? I was actually curious about that, and I was watching you like a hawk. The 1 second I looked away and it's in your hand all of a sudden.
Damn
The
it!
tease. Kind of figured it just wouldn't be turning up.
We've got to induct another person. We've got to do rounds, make sure we're constantly watching.
Illustrator won't accept just anyone. I'm surprised she accepted you.
I'm special!
The sword is currently blonde.
But do be aware that you need to take certain steps still to prove yourself to Illustrator. You've been accepted, but it could still vanish. Or worse yet, it could turn black and she gestures to the one on her back.
That's sad. Not gonna lie though, the black is kind of cool, but...
So, your first task, my pupil, will be to sharpen that.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh yeah, you weren't hit. Yeah.
How many things fucking happened while I was asleep?
Naïlo. Yeah. Not like my... she's not like my boss, but Naïlo's not.
I'm her mentor.
Yeah.
She works under me.
And I'm
her
gonna teach her Infernal. Do you like the plat?
Naïlo has a different plait today. And it's got
Why do so many things change? It looks
small
nice.
things.
It looks great.
woven into it, scraps of fabric and whatever else that's shiny.
It's a little bit uneven, but honestly, fantastic job.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether I should go back to bed, get myself a sword.
Well, we're about to be travelling.
Oh, yeah.
I don't suppose a murderous ruffian like you would be accepted by Illustrate. But then again, this one was, so...
I'm not murderous, I didn't kill anyone.
That's true. Moxie was very ineffective.
So, I didn't kill anyone. Unlike you two. So who's the barbarian now?
I was gonna say, you killed a bunch of people that lost.
Oh, of course I've killed a bunch of people. But the difference is they were in my way, armed and ready to fight. You made sweet, sweet blood splats out of corpses already lying on the ground.
One corpse, and that was the guy we needed to finish off.
You did technically ask him to behead it.
After! He was already made... It matters not. Oh well.
I can't wait to show this to Arif.
Could you not?
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I got my work cut
Just
out for
don't
me.
get the knife, the pointy end too close to Arif, please.
It's blunt at the moment.
I might have to sharpen it.
They're really hard to sharpen, by the way. Really hard.
You know, fun time.
Once it's sharp, you can keep on checking up with me each evening to see how sharp it is. Once it's sharp enough, I'll teach you how to make it retain its edge forever.
I'm not even. I'm gonna go get. No, I'm not. No, I'm gonna walk away now.
Where do you want to walk away to? There's
Yeah, who can I go see?
There's some Gotors who are all lying in a pile. One of which was a soldier, some of which are totally civilians. There's a fair amount of humans actually now. Some who were ex-soldiers, some who are civilians, some who were rescued slaves. And there's a gnoll as well who looks particularly twitchy, and a male tiefling who is currently sitting with Dawn and Gazelle.
God damn it, we wish it was Dagger.
You gotta wish for Dagger. To be fair, Dagger sounds really fun. I'll just go check up on the human groups the other day.
Yeah, okay. There's 15.
Finally!
You know what? No, I'm gonna go look for wildlife again.
You want to go look for wildlife? Roll an animal handling check.
He just starts walking towards the group of people, careens up. Oh, what's he doing? Alright.
Tyler just kind of like, look guys, I've got something, and it's just like an animal on his shoulder.
Ooh.
At 17.
You find
What do I find?
what appears to be looking at you with possible intelligence, a sand cat.
Yes!
It comes, sits at your feet, and does the biggest eyes possible.
Oh, buddy. Oh, he's so cute. I have nothing to give you though. Love, but I don't know if you appreciate that one as much.
You have a pen.
Do you want to touch it?
Yes.
Okay, you
I'll
go
just
down.
crouch down.
You crouch down. Huge man, covered in blood.
Oh, yeah.
The cat seems unfazed, preens slightly.
Oh my god. I forgot about cute things because of yesterday. You're so adorable. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna stop stroking you. I think I've got a bit of blood on you.
And Moxie's just like, ew,
Sam
what
just
the
licks it
fuck
off.
is
And then looks up warily as you walking over.
No, Moxie's just like, from afar, like, what the
And
what?
the sand cat startles and goes to sit behind your legs, out of Loxie's line of sight.
Moxie, stop, you're gonna fucking scare the thing.
I really hope she doesn't break it. I mean, he doesn't break its neck.
He is quite big and he is covered in blood.
And also, evil. Murderer.
That is unfair.
Some of the members of Sunrise are quite attached to that one sand cat. It hangs around.
Alright.
Don't break its neck. They'll get angry at you.
I'm not gonna fucking break his neck. Why would I do that?
You're a big bloody man.
I happen to be at the moment. I'm usually just a big man.
One of the younger humans slowly comes over and goes, "Can I touch it?"
It's not my joke.
Don't break its neck.
Just be careful.
How do I stroke it?
Do I show?
Yeah, you can show them. Handle handling check. But with advantage.
That one. Neck break.
It was like, no, I'm not getting touched by anything.
Ooh.
19.
The sand cat is barely suspicious of this person. You don't seem to have a problem with it. And the human strokes him a bit. But they look. You're not entirely sure of their age. It's quite hard to guess when they're, covered in dirt and everything.
Yeah.
But they certainly look to be on the more scrawny adolescent side, possibly a teenager. But I'm not entirely sure. They look at you like, you're so cool. And then go over to talk to Chatter and the group of humans. Like, that was an adorable cat!
It's a really cute cat.
And the cat disappears off into the rocks.
Alright, I'm finally happy. This is a good morning. Come back.
Alright, so we're going to have to get Jiffy on. I've already taken your rations and water.
Dawn heads over.
And yours.
So how are we doing for food and water?
I was robbed of my sleep.
Well, I've taken theirs.
I gained
Totaled my own. There's the camel. Don't know how much you've got. But,
Hands over a bit.
thank you. With a little bit of tiring, it's important that you three certainly stay well fed, and I'd definitely rather Gazelle as well. But, you three feel
If we don't
safe.
have enough to go around.
Sorry?
If we don't have enough to go around, it's more of, well, we need to give our fighters in some state.
Exactly. You four need to stay in some fighting condition. I'll be relegated somewhat to the role of apparating food. And with that, we should be able to, by my approximation, I have travelled with a small group of people before, so it doesn't necessarily carry over completely, but I figure we can probably make it back to Faisal.
Well, if you can make... How much food can you make?
Naïlo chaperone.
And water. Water's more important.
I'd rather do it in the evening when we're going to eat.
Yes. How
A lot.
does your...
A lot. Feed more than half the people here.
That's good. Not encountered that
Chaperone
before.
It's the power of a deity.
Not my deity.
Tempus, if I had to take a
A
guess?
tempest.
Ah,
Shuffles away.
great. You seem like you really love Tempus.
Ah! I don't have any problems with my deity. I have problems with some other people's interpretations of them.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
each
suppose
to
I
their
can't
own.
argue with that.
Moxie's
Gods
just
are
shuffling
multifaceted,
away.
dependent on their worshippers.
That is true. That is true.
I was meaning that creating food and water out of nothing is not something I've heard of. Well, I mean, there's rumours it's possibly of Adordo, but I hadn't realised it outside of that.
That makes a lot of sense for Vitorno. By the way,
Yes,
we're pals.
sure.
Tempus has a bit of a track record with people of our faith.
Of your faith?
Not going to go in the middle of the night, are you?
Well, I would certainly be an idiot to kill a person operating in food and water. But
Fair
aside
enough.
from that, I bear you no ill intention.
Thank you.
Insight.
Do you
Bad.
need- do you need to roll? Do you need to roll into that as well?
You don't need to. You need to roll a religion check.
Oh, religion, fuck, shit.
Because this was your religion.
My religion, yeah, fuck, shit.
I'm just thinking about Seinfeld.
5.
You know, you had a religion with Troop Sunrise,
Yeah.
and you're not entirely sure if theirs is the correct version of the religion or a more
Yeah.
extreme version
Yeah,
of
lots
it.
of just doesn't
I got a 9 on insight, so pretty good.
Dawn's been pretty solid previously. Doesn't seem to have changed now. I
Fair
mean,
enough.
you're not entirely sure, but
Yeah.
that's sound logic.
All right. Well, by my approximations, we should get going real quick before our food runs out.
I suppose I'll go deal with the troop as the Gazelle. Do you want to come? They don't seem to mind female tieflings that aren't Moxie.
You have to have that on, don't you?
Although hopefully they don't have a problem with yeah, that'll be fine.
You're talking about going to Ivitordo.
Well, you said we're coming across the border was fine,
Absolutely.
and I see very little reason to stay.
I can put in a great word with Arif for you.
You're on first names terms?
Indeed, I didn't even know he was royal when I first met him.
Neither did I.
Oh, she definitely didn't. High treason.
I suggested not mentioning that to the soldiers. And she heads into the cave. Looks distinctly unhappy coming out. 2 of them are coming with us. Want to meet their possible allies in the war.
And they're bringing food and water with them, is what they're doing. Or they can starve. 8 days! Be prepared.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Who are they?
Apparently ones that are more familiar with you'll be coming. A dagger in case you happen to be...
Dagger and shield!
Dagger and
And
shield.
Sealy offered. Got a few odd looks, but apparently the 2 of them are trusted enough. Celia killed Wilhelm Jr. out here.
And Dagger feasted on a jugular yesterday. I watched it happen. Quite barbaric. Put these 2 to shame, quite frankly. And they were obsessing over a decapitated head.
I was not. That one was, for sure.
I've got to say, they have some distasteful views. Well, not generally. Generally, I've got to say, Verleba. Don't really care gender of who you're kissing. Troop Sunrise! Ah, well. Only 2 of them were travelling with.
We're sexist. I don't know.
And racist.
We've also got the majority.
I'm not that bad. I'm actually pretty decent coming out of Truth Sunrise. She's not that bad coming out of Truth Sunrise.
Nice. I heard you.
But we do have majority by far. If they try and speak
Oh,
out.
I'd like to see them try.
Dagger will take out half of them.
Besides, Sealy doesn't seem to have as much of a problem with it.
Sealy's lovely.
Yes.
Alright, Moxie, can you get the attention of everyone we're travelling with? Not infernal! Not infernal! One more time! Not infernal!
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Don't hands off and her and Gazelle. Gather everyone you're travelling with. I don't know if this is one of the first times you've met an actual adult male tiefling. When it comes to S.H.I.E.L.D. It's possibly slightly odd for you.
So you're a man?
Yeah.
Does that mean... Wait, you're a man. Does that mean you have the anatomy of a normal human man?
Aye!
Do you have a dick?
Moxie.
They look very taken back with, you're a tiefling?
Yeah.
I'd imagine you'd know exactly how human parts translate over to tieflings then.
Is this like a thing? Do male tieflings not have dicks?
Oh no, I haven't met a male tiefling. Hi.
You're very ignorant.
Do you have a dick?
They keep you ignorant. Yeah, they keep.
They woke up.
They keep us. They keep us
Can I,
ignorant.
Follow them. I'm so I'm so sorry.
They keep us ignorant in
There's
this
a couple
trip.
of male people around in humans.
I didn't mean to. I'm
But
sorry.
Why are there only female tieflings there?
I can explain.
From what I've seen, they don't like men. They don't like me. They don't like any guys. It's history, I guess.
I can explain.
Just very sorry about that conversation.
I'm sorry about my conversation.
As you should. Yeah,
What's
if you just stay towards the back, we won't bother you again.
What's your name?
Shut the fuck up, Moxie.
Will they stop asking me if I tell them my name?
I will.
Maybe.
In infernal they I don't know. You're not very far away. It's not what you can film dirty. Shield.
Moxie, what did they say?
Oh, his name is called Shield. Perfect for dagger.
Do you
like guts and gore?
I was on son. What she was?
Do you like guts and gore?
Please
Shield?
don't kill me.
I'm not going to. I'm just asking. Do you like violence?
I mean,
Not against you.
I'm rather concerned.
I'm just turning around and walking him off.
They get to look progressively more.
I'm trying to set you up with a friend.
It's not the introduction you want to have.
Alright, everybody. Nice and assembled.
And Dagger's just like,
His name's Shield Dagger.
Yeah, I know that.
His name's Shield, it's great!
You know you don't do romance in the troop. You should know that.
Yes, but I'm not in the troop anymore, am I?
Well, I'd have to leave if I wanted to. Crazy, like I'd lose my supply to Vardsas and...
Anyway, Dagger.
Did you like the town? We said it rather nicely, fine.
Yeah, guess what you would like, Dagger? Checks out the sword.
That is an impressive blade. Where can I get one?
You can't get one! She's an idiot.
I want a small size, but...
Guess what, Dagger? I'm better than you for once. You can't get one.
So you know how you stared at Naïlo swords when you first met her? The expression is very similar to that, yours.
Now you
Circling
can't judge me.
around you.
Now you can't
Yep.
judge me, Naïlo. This is what happens.
Sorry, what? I was trying to get these people. Oh wow. Is that what your people?
Yes! You can't judge me! You're learning more and more!
You admit that it's weird though, right?
Yeah.
You feel like it's going to be taken from you, don't you?
Yeah.
You understand me now, don't you?
Yeah.
Great, we learned a little bit about each other. Now, come on everyone, we got to get going before the sun is up properly. And she's gonna start walking in a direction with the camel.
Alright guys, let's go. Who's navigating?
I guess.
You.
Survival checks.
Alright.
Actually.
Wait.
Well, to be fair. No.
Do you want to travel by road or not? If you travel by road, you won't need to make any navigation checks.
Road.
Okay.
We don't want to.
You know that there is a town along here to Vesper. You may want to avoid Vesper.
Yes.
It's up to you.
Yes, we want to avoid Vespa.
So you travel. There's tedious days of not being able to eat quite enough or drink quite enough, and everyone's getting a bit irritable, but for the most part, keeping it to themselves.
These two should be fine.
You two are fine. You two and Dawn are fine. Dagger's been insulting you more often. Doesn't seem to be taking it well inside, but you're clearly the best target. You're at least not tired, so you can deal with it slightly better. I mean, they've brought their own stuff, but 8 days of travel. They clearly are on tight rations.
Every evening, yeah, so just as the sun begins to set, Naïlo's gonna...
Oh, so you're traveling through midday. You have a horrible period of several hours every
No,
day.
I know, it's bad. But Naïlo's going to get everyone in a circle, do a little dance performance for everyone, sing as she does.
Can I help you with that?
What? Play the harp?
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. And as she does, she casts Lesser Spell Song and then create Food and Water, consuming 2 3rd-level spell slots every day. At the end of the first day, she'd make her way over to Moxie. I didn't see you sharpening your blade. It's going to take I mean, you don't need to do it immediately if you don't want, but it's going to be useless until it is sharp. You ever tried to swing a blunt sword?
Yes.
It's a metal stick.
It
does-
does blunt force trauma.
Oh, okay, so
It does something. What it's meant to, it doesn't. So, you may want to get on that.
Oh yeah, I've changed into my fine clothes, by the way. I'm not walking around for this long with...
There's blood on you, but not on your clothes, and you managed to get some of it off the cloth.
Okay.
Tyler, you look like a pompous asshole.
Oh, thank you, Moxie. I've got nothing else to wear.
On the first evening, I'm also going to cast Sending to Arif. Hello! Vorham's dead. Bringing back more than expected. Some tieflings. I know you're chill with that. See you in about 7 more days.
That's good news! My cousin's in town. Sorry in advance.
Oh, another royal.
Oh, and I got stabbed, but I'm fine. That's
At
it.
She
least-
doesn't have a third level spell slot left, but she's going to cast Sending anyway. You fucking...
You try and fail.
Yeah, exactly. Tomorrow?
You noticed that Naïlo is...
Are you okay?
Didn't you need them food for making food and water for the rest of the journey?
Well, yeah, that's exactly why she's not
Yeah.
casting it. She has 3 third level spell slots, so she can once a day cast Sending. Be a little pen pal with Arif.
What are you doing?
You okay?
I'm a little bit hungry. Nothing I haven't dealt with before. And worse than that, Arif just nonchalantly at the end of his message. Oh yes, also I got stabbed. Of course.
At least I don't stab him when I was there, so I'm better than whoever stabbed him.
I would not test neither patience.
Okay, sorry. Silence.
Do you want me to play the heartbeat?
Quite frankly, every mistake you would make would ring like 1,000 bells.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
Most people are giving you a wide berth.
Especially midday.
Midday, you are very cranky.
Yes.
You know what your act for being Moxie's slaver?
It's
That's-
coming to volition.
You're not obviously acting as a slaver, but you have about as good of an attitude as that.
Yes. I'm hungies. And a lot of the other people are hungies too, to be fair.
No one is particularly happy right now. You're quietly minding your own business.
Yeah.
And what she's like, I didn't drink anything.
Actually, everyone has water. Except some
Everyone
tieflings.
And you're...
I didn't take any water.
You wouldn't be drinking water.
Yeah, it'd basically be you, Dawn, and Gazelle sharing water.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't take any of the water rations for today. No, not at all.
Celie and Dagger brought their own water. It only does the 2 of them. And I imagine they might have already calculated in skipping some. Given they're from a troop of not inconsiderable numbers, troop Sunrise. Resources are a bit scarce sometimes. Yeah, so you travel. You possibly snap at a couple of people, but no one's injured. Well, more injured than they originally were. You sleep during the night. You trance and go. Sit around like, why can't we be travelling now? I imagine.
Yep.
Very unhappily.
Can you roll me a d20 for sharpening your sword? Once per day.
11.
Yeah, not sharp.
Or does it need to be like a nat 20 for to be sharp?
I rolled that one, it breaks. No, I'm joking, it won't.
If you roll that one, your progress goes back to 0.
Oh, great.
That's a bit drastic.
If you did such a bad job of trying to sharpen it that you're showing your weapons that amount of inconsideracy, it goes back to blunt.
Oh, any blood. Sorry, I forgot to mention this the other night. Blood is wiped off. You can't tell me to wipe my weapon. Don't. Please.
She probably already did during the day. I'd be less frustrated if you just cleaned your weapons already.
I'm cleaning 'em, please. Getting clean.
Actually, during this part, she would still be fed somewhat. It's probably the latter end where she starts taking exhaustion.
But she was really irritable about the Arif thing the first night.
Yeah.
You travel second day. I'm going to go to the toilet. You two can chatter among yourselves if you decide that's what you want to be doing. I'll be back in a minute.
Guys, I have a plan. We need to set up shield and dagger.
Why would you want them to be together?
I think
I
you
feel
need
like
to go back
one
to
would-
sharpening.
I think I would kill Shield.
I'm rolling. 17.
You've made some good progress today, but she runs her finger along it, and you can see like it kind of draws a little bit of blood. Not sharp enough.
She.
Alright.
Hey, shield. Dagger. Dagger, you look real sexy
Moxie,
today.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna just hide Shield as much as I can from you.
I just want to be friends.
I think you want him and her to be more than friends.
I think you might be repeating the same type of friend-making process you did with me. In that it's ineffectual.
No.
Okay, I want to look for more animals. Robyn's not here yet.
This is just Tyler's pastime.
Cute desert animals. Sometimes it's not cute. Sometimes it's a griffin.
It's just always
Robyn.
sandcats.
It's just, yeah, sign cats. Can I look for more animals?
Yes, you can look for more animals.
Can Moxie help?
You want to look for
Tyler.
animals with me?
Could Moxie just sees Tyler go?
Do I get advantage if you help me?
It is my
Yes.
home country.
You can have advantage.
You got 2-7.
I
Yeah.
A 1.25% chance, if not lower, I believe.
You can't see anything today,
No.
unfortunately.
Sad.
It is sad, but you know, local wildlife is not turning up. So was that second day of travel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I roll for sword sharpening.
Great. Tell me when to sharp, but not before then. I'll tell Stephen. What did you talk about?
Sword sharpening.
I tried to be like, hey, Shield, Dagger's looking real sexy today.
And I'm trying to hide Shield from her.
Ah, of course. Shield likes you.
So rude.
I just
You're
wanna
probably
be
just
friends.
really glad to have someone to talk to who's not female.
I don't know how to make friends, I'm sorry.
I mean, you can talk to Gazelle. She's probably happy enough to talk to you.
Hi,
You get on fine and Seely's here.
Hi, Gazelle.
Hi.
You okay?
Yeah, I mean, the water rations are going to be taking a toll, but at least the heat's not too much of a problem.
So, what are you and Dawn gonna do when you get over the border?
Over the border? I mean, I'm not sure how much places cost over there, but I suppose we could try and buy a flat.
Oh, you're so kind. I'm happy for you too.
Dawn's happy enough to get some kind of military job.
Ooh.
I can read at least, so maybe there's something along the lines of secretary.
Ooh, I'm so proud of you too. Living your life. Go get it.
Apparently Evertordo's less progressive about that sort of thing than Velva. But they're more progressive about tieflings, I think. So,
Oh, I'm so happy. Isn't it cute?
Sharpen your sword!
so Moxie, you and Seely?
Yeah, we're friends, yeah.
Ah.
She saved my life at one point. It's very good.
Just wondering from your own tone of voice there whether I have something to go back with. You know, response.
What?
Well, you and Seely.
Yeah?
You a thing? Were you a thing?
No, she's my friend. Probably
Ah.
my closest friend. She I didn't die because of her. Hi, Seely. She's just wearing.
I mean, I'd wondered if there was something else there. And she kind of goes off to talk to Dawn. You started asking her about her relationship.
Am I gay now?
I don't know, are you gay?
I don't know.
Well,
She's just like this for the rest of the day.
I mean, well, in fairness, women are more capable than men by like a long shot.
Because like Gazelle's wondering about.
And smarter.
I'm just gonna walk fast.
So Shield.
Yeah, I'm gonna go speak to Shield.
Gazelle's wondering. And Gazelle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Gazelle, do you have a good gaydar?
Dawn's like, generally guesses fairly accurately. Although looks over at Dagger. Sure you want to discuss that in present company? Your troop's not the most accepting.
I'm having an experience here, Dagger. You might not like me, but just put up with
Dagger's
it.
like, ooh, more blackmail.
No. No.
In fairness, she's not part of the troop anymore.
Ah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, good.
Oh well. You're free to have whatever strange tastes you like.
Now, Moxie, you are free to have whatever taste you like, but I have said that I'll take responsibility for all of your actions, and there are certain places where I'm going to get executed if you go about talking like that.
Oh no, I don't even know.
Which, once again, I don't mind either way, but just, if we ever go to Verdicta, no thanks.
No.
I don't even know. So technically, if I say, technically not true because I don't even know.
Fair enough.
Gazelle will take pity on you in the evening, come over. You're like shaken. Are you doing alright there?
I don't know.
Ah. What's the issue? Oh dear. Almost Dawn did. Okay. What would help?
I don't know.
Yes, I see.
Dawn asked if I was not.
Well, I asked, yes.
Oh no, I asked Dawn if you had a good gator, and Dawn said, "Yeah." So now I'm confused.
If it's any consolidation, I don't think Celia is straight.
That was quite
Consolation.
obvious from the beginning. What does it know about me?
I don't think there's many ways I can help with that. I imagine you'll just figure it out on your own.
Curse you, Gazelle.
Try kissing someone who's female, that might help.
Ugh. Kissing's weird.
Well, maybe you don't like anyone.
Please.
That's possible too. Oh well, I'll leave you to that. I'm sure you'll come to your realizations. And that leaves you to have whatever crisis.
Moxie's just unblinking. Just
Alright, I'm gonna come over to you. I wanna blink. Sounds gonna get in your eyes. Or you could not, I suppose. It's up to you, but what's the issue? No, what's wrong with her?
Now is off some distance, psychically yelling at Arif.
oh, I gotta roll my. I gotta sharpen my thing down.
This is you've already rolled.
Is this
die.
the second day? Oh god, this is only the second day.
It's only the second day.
Do I leave you alone? Or like...
I don't know anymore. I don't know what anything means anymore. Don't let Gazelle talk to you when you two are alone. Don't let her. Don't be alone with her.
Did she tell you like the secret of life or something? What the
She'll
fuck?
change everything.
Now I'm curious. What did she talk to you about? Or was it just that traumatic? Was it the secret of life or something?
Everything, but nothing at the same time.
Do you want to go ask Gazelle?
Yeah, why not?
You leave.
Still not blinking.
You leave Moxie and go presumably to find Gazelle. Yeah.
Gazelle, what did you do to Moxie?
I asked her if she liked girls.
I
I asked if she and Celia were were ever an item. I gathered that it wasn't something Moxie put much thought to.
Yeah, no. That helps me a lot. Thank you. I want to go back to him.
Moxie's still unblinking.
Do you plan on getting in a relationship anytime soon? If not, get the fuck to sleep. We need to travel.
Just unblinking, just falls to the side and goes, okay, good night.
Close your eyes. You're gonna dry out.
Sleeps well, eyes open. No, close her eyes and just like, okay. And just sleeps.
Do you want to send an Arif?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Arif, being stabbed. It's not something you should be so nonchalant about. Also, you mentioned cousin, was it? Good? Bad? You said sorry in advance. Oh dear.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of assassination. I have had a lot of assassination attempts, Naïlo. You get used to it. Yes, my least favourite cousin. She won't break any laws.
That's always good.
Unlike Moxie.
Yeah.
Moxie's gonna be too stunned to break any laws when she gets back.
Feel free to do with that if you will. Okay, the third day of travel. This is probably at the point particularly that you're skirting round into less. You've gone off the path significantly at this point to avoid Vesper because you didn't really want to go through there. Can someone roll me a survival check?
My score wasn't actually too bad.
And go for it.
+3, but
Then go for it.
Go for it.
Roll now.
I'll help you.
You can have
Yeah.
advantage.
I get help.
Yeah.
You're using the green dice. Okay.
I
not-
should have rolled that.
Yes, that's an 8.
We're gonna die.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't afford an extra day of travel.
Yeah, we're gonna die.
Okay. You
How
go
hard
out.
is it to go
You're-
around the town?
So is that.
You're not. I mean, you're doing the navigating bit and everything, but you don't actually. You were never the one in your last group who did this bit.
I seriously should
And
roll.
also, it was a lot easier when Blink could fly and scout things.
Ooh.
You manage to take the group. You think it's probably the right direction, but it's about midday that you come across a suspicious looking. Is that a burrow?
We're all gonna die.
Did you say midday?
Midday. No wonder the advantage was so awful. And you're near the front of the group.
Oh god.
Upon the group nearing, there's a skittering.
Oh, we're gonna die. Dagger!
You have 3 people who don't have exhaustion levels.
Dagger! Please help us.
I
Run.
I'm just like,
run,
stop.
Run,
Stop the
run,
group.
Run.
Don't
Yeah.
cross
Other
the-
direction.
That does not look good.
How not good? It's not good.
Ever heard of giant scorpions?
Oh, can we go around it?
Run the other direction!
Okay.
You're
How close
going
is
close.
it?
Well, I can't fucking tell.
One's emerge.
Run! Literally leg it!
You can
Run.
see, that's not blinding. There's a black splodge on the horrible blinding sand.
Naïlo begins spellcasting and incredibly tumultuous tremors erupt all around us. And then a moment later, the sound of a giant purple worm, jagged with all its little yellow spikes running along its body and its gaping maw, reels up, looking at the scorpion. Boom, goes down directly in front of it. Alright, we're good to go.
You really like that illusion, though.
It's really good.
Let's go. And the rest of your day of travel goes relatively uneventfully.
You're never
I'm never doing
navigating
survival.
again.
Yes, that's your third day. You've still got 5 days left.
I shall roll.
Yeah.
10.
Okay.
Right. Is there anything particularly anyone in the group you're wanting to talk to?
Arif, but I don't have a 3rd level spell slot anymore.
That's
Sealy.
everyone who's there if you're interested.
Sealy.
You want to talk to Sealy, okay? You heading over?
Sealy, am I gay?
Strong start.
So we've gone with... Let me check something. what she looks like, so I can describe it again. Okay, she's pink with horns that go straight upwards. Okay. I don't know.
Because I know you're gay.
Well, I haven't really told anyone that, but that's why the group's not so keen on me. Yeah.
I'm not in the group, so I ain't telling them. Like, I know you're gay, but am I?
Yes.
Because Gazelle was like, my world was shattering, Seeley. I don't know anything anymore. I know
Okay.
nothing but everything. Because do not let yourself be alone with Gazelle.
Why are you asking me?
Because, like, you would have to realise it at some point. So, like,
Yes, I did.
so, like, how did you know?
Oh,
Because, like, this is difficult, because it's like,
well, so there was...
I was asked by Gazelle, and it's just like, am I
You can
gay?
stand in near enough to hear this travesty if you want. So it was just, they'd referred to, well, the groups would refer to one-night stands they had had occasionally, and,
Oh, yeah, those are disgusting.
yeah, well, I was...
You met another girl chiefly? You did her? Oh!
No! That's not what happened.
Oh.
I was, looking at one of our troop members and thought, wouldn't it be great if they were open to kiss? And then...
Dagger. Dagger is quite muscular.
No, it wasn't Dagger.
You don't have to be, like, gay to like Dagger. Because Dagger looks male but also female with all that muscle that's on her. So
No, it was you.
is that why Gazelle asked? Thank you, Seeley.
You're welcome. I haven't talked to him. I need to go talk to Shield to see what Tiefling thinks he does.
Go ask if he's gay.
As she makes her way away from
He's been
that,
spending
She's
a lot.
like a normally fairly pale pink. She's gone bright red.
yeah.
He spends a lot of time with Tyler, who might be gay.
He's trying to avoid you, and I'm perfect for that.
You're also the covered man.
Go on.
As Seeley makes her way away from Moxie, Naïlo is going to kind of walk up. Hello.
No one's helping me with this question.
Right, well, I think it's about time I got your sword dancer training started properly anyway.
Oh, yes, let's get this done.
So since it's the evening, I suppose come with me and we can see if we can solve two problems at once, shall we? She's gonna make her way off, you probably noticed it.
Alright.
Or at least, if not, should try and get your attention. If you don't notice, too bad, I guess.
I mean, probably do.
Your passive perception is shit.
It
It's
is.
10.
Do I notice that?
I was trying to get your attention by.
You know,
So yeah.
always.
You're sitting with
Shield.
Shield and Celia at the moment and having a fairly decent conversation between the three of you about something.
Alright, that's true.
Once we're a good distance away. Moxie, what's your favourite part about people?
People in general?
Yep.
That's a hard question.
Doesn't need to be romantic, it can just be something you appreciate.
Oh, I just don't like people.
See, of all the answers that couldn't be wrong, you managed to say one that was.
And then I'm thinking.
I'll say
They're
something.
material possessions.
Great. You managed to say the other wrong answer.
Well, I'll get a right answer.
Oh.
Hair's cool because hair you can be like woo, and then you can be like woo, and then you can be like woo.
That's still, it's too surface level. It's nothing to do with the people.
Well, because people's personalities are terrible.
I disagree with that.
You met me.
I met you.
My personality's terrible.
It is borderline irredeemable.
Yeah, and Tyler
But-
tried to sell someone with that's terrible part.
But You're borderline irredeemable. I wouldn't have accepted you as my student if you weren't redeemable. I think in there, you care for people a lot more than you let on. And if I have to say, quite candidly, what I think probably my favourite part about people is, and is, I'm not proud of it, but they're inferior to me. Almost all of them.
Do you have a god complex, Naïlo?
I'm nowhere near a deity.
Okay.
But, I don't know. From a passive stance, looking at them, they're all like ants wandering around on the
Apart
desert.
from Tyler. Tyler's not an ant. Tyler's quite
I'm a
big.
bigger ant.
He's a soldier ant or something.
He's a bumblebee.
But
Still an
they're all
insect.
so wrapped up in their lives, their little squabbles, and there's something quaint about it to just watch them being, you know? That's what I like about people. I like how they just keep trying and don't give up.
Some people do give up though.
But even when they give up, they don't quite give up, do they? It consumes their thoughts, their failures. And in that way I'm no different from them, I suppose. Difference is I'm superior, generally speaking. So what's your favourite thing about people?
This is very hard.
It shouldn't
Because
be.
the people I've grown up with, you've met them. And everyone else who I've met, didn't like his favour and all racist.
Maybe that's, to some extent, absolutely true. It's a Verliver. But maybe some of that is you imposing it onto them. You've met Arif. He's not that. You made him that in your own eyes. You can't...
What do I like about Arif?
I don't think you like anything about Arif. I think you've put him in a box.
I'm thinking, what do I like about Arif?
Actually, like you.
He's pretty,
You're leaving it.
he's actually pretty. He's hard working. And he's pretty chill.
That sounded like getting blood out of a stone, but baby steps, I suppose. You can appreciate something about him. Moxie, there's something to appreciate in everyone, if you look for it. Killing is necessary sometimes, but it's a travesty when you have to. My mentor, far more skilled than I, Shipasha, instantly disarming. She could turn the most vitriolically hateable people into people who appreciate her, respect her, joke along with her. And when she couldn't, and they would raise arms against her and attack her, it'd be mere moments before they were down on the ground, defeated, begging for their lives. And by the end of the encounter, they'd have a respect for her. She
That's
never took a
badass.
life she didn't have to.
She's a badass.
She was badass.
Yeah. No, I don't have a good personality, so I can't do that.
A personality is something you can work on. If you appreciate how hardworking Arif is, you see that as a positive trait. Perhaps you don't see it in yourself. Put it in yourself.
She's had enough crises already.
Here, I'll give you something to rehearse with
I thought you said you'd solve problems.
long term. Here, I'll give you something, I suppose, to keep your mind occupied, and something for you to do with that sword of yours while we're travelling. Just give me a moment. And she's going to strip down completely naked.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
You're going to have to look if you want to see how to do it. Why are you ashamed?
I'm respecting your privacy.
I'm not. So why are you ashamed?
Because there's a naked person in front of me. Tyler, back me up on this.
Tyler, all the way back in camp.
What's wrong? You have a thaumaturgy for Tyler if you really want.
Can you not?
She's not spellcasting, she's gonna bap you on the head.
I'll look you in the eye.
Appreciate it. See, now you're respecting me.
This is very uncomfortable.
Why?
Naked person in front of me, and they're telling me to look at them, and I'm very uncomfortable. I was literally questioning my sexuality earlier today.
I don't want to confuse you too much, so just watch this. And she's gonna bend down, and she's her sword, and then she's going to perform just not necessarily an incredibly complex, but a certainly difficult maneuver. She's going to swing the sword, chuck it round herself to the back, catch it with her other hand, chuck it up in the air as she does a slashing rising strike, cartwheel, and catch it in her other hand as the cartwheel finishes. Now give that a try. I want it mastered by the time we return to Faisal.
I'm still looking you directly in the eye. Great. Do I have to do it naked?
Easier, more comfortable.
I'll just take off my rags. My clothes underneath are quite comfortable.
Feel this nighttime breeze.
It's
Moxie.
quite cold. We're in the desert, it's quite cold.
You have a ways to go, and she's gonna get back changed again, make her way back towards the group. If you need any advice, you can ask me first.
Do you want to talk to Celia and Shield? You can pick conversation topic if you want.
I'm highly traumatized.
Yeah, I can't wait to come back to that. You know, I've had such a good time with Shield this entire journey. I love this guy right now.
Yeah, he's
You
level-headed.
love this
He's,
guy?
Not like that. I'm straight.
He doesn't have a particular trade, but that's mostly because he was a slave.
Yeah, that would do it.
But he has rudimentary combat self-defense skills.
Okay.
And when he was younger, he lived in a house that was more out in the desert.
Okay.
One of the moving towns, he said, tells you. Do you want more information on how his work?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, I grew up in one of the shifting towns, they're called.
I've never heard of them, I know I've heard of them once.
They're a developer thing, I think. It's because we have so many dunes, it's basically a sea. Not that I've seen a sea of water, but...
That's what I've seen.
Well,
You can go on a date to the ocean.
Oh, ship us. This is my buddy, my bestie.
yeah, some people have sand skiffs that they travel the deserts on. Those are the proper, the mining towns aren't, if you ask me, they're not really Verlaba. They're the things people name it as that permanently stay on the maps. It's the communities that travel. The ones that don't stop, that set to settle for a few years and move on. Or the skiffs that never stop. The freedom of that's Verlaba to me.
That's fair enough.
I grew up with, I didn't have, I had one tiefling parent, but only the one, the other was, people didn't always take too kindly to it, but when you're moving around a lot, hospitality, it's not enough time for people to really take issue with you. I mean, of course, before slaves. There's always that. Always roaming dark elves. Found some null packs sided with feral instead of in civilization. And, nobles. But living out in the desert under the stars, the house you can move, choosing where you go, ill-defined borders.
I mean, that sounds...
Once this whole civil war's over with, I want to go back.
You want to go back? Well, my good friend. Sounds quite nice. And I'd love to accompany you. I'm gonna murder. So Moxie, you feel just dread.
talk Moxie about seeing me afterwards if you want. Well, a good friend's always nice on the journey.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe I'll even see your ocean.
Ocean is
Better.
cool.
I
Just
think
don't
that's-
go in it though, because there's a lot of creatures
But
in
I
there.
think it's a bit far for me, so
Oh. Well, hopefully you change your mind on that one day, because
maybe
It's-
that
fantastic.
I want to go home once I'm able to.
Yeah.
I don't think travel outside of that sounds a bit daunting.
Yeah, of course, no worries.
I don't know how much information I have is accurate of the other countries, but I don't really know very much. And I hear that the tribes can be difficult each in their own ways.
To be fair, I don't know too much about the other places either.
Where are you from?
I'm from Malarium.
That's on by the sea.
Mm.
What's it like?
It's got a very strong community there. Everyone looks out for each other. It's very nice. Or at least the part where I was from, anyway.
Small town?
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a small town. It's very nice. Everyone knew each other.
How do you trade? Oh, beyond
My parents tried to teach me their trade, which was
bone carving.
bone carving.
Ah, yeah, you said tried. Was it not to your tastes?
Well, you see, my hands are a little bit too big to do bone carving. I wasn't able to make anything.
But you found something that suits you, it seems.
Well, for me, that was being a dragon knight for the short time that I was.
A dragon knight. They're near myths,
Yeah.
at least where I'm from.
No, I can tell you now, there's a lot of us. Well, compared to how many dragons there are, not that many. But it's a great, organisation.
Is it true dragon knights can shoot lightning from their hands?
Don't know where you picked that up from? No. I
shoot lightning.
Well, I can shoot lightning, but not from my hands.
Wow.
It's more of an area that I can,
It's always fairy tales are true.
I suppose in that way, yeah.
He's flirting
And-
with you.
He's just talking. Do you have armor? It's dragon knight?
I actually gave it back. I'm not a dragon knight anymore, but
Why'd you stop?
I had a pretty unfortunate incident.
With a dragon.
Yeah. Good guess. And I decided that maybe it wasn't the best job for me.
Well, keep it the slave liberation, and I'm sure you'll have nothing to be ashamed of.
Alright. Well, thank you anyway. We should probably get going to bed. I mean, it's quite late. And I want to be able to travel tomorrow. And I know you do too.
Of course.
Though you're not navigating tomorrow.
I'm not. Never. Never again.
Okay, we've done 3 days of... Do you want to skip the rest of it? You get irritable and travel.
I need to roll for 5 days.
Yeah,
so.
roll for 5 days.
Wait,
Is there
Do you want a couple more?
anything you're particularly wanting to do in each of these days?
No, not really.
Okay. You want sending Arif again, or you just leaving it at that?
I'll leave it like that. He can await my return.
6, 19, 15, 1.
On the 7th day, it's done.
Oh, wait, was the one the last one? Okay, so you do 4 days of... It's almost...
No, it's actually done before the natural one.
Ah,
Yeah.
lucky.
On the 7th day, right before we arrive back in town, in the evening, I imagine you approach Naïlo. She's at this point a little bit more irritable. Her hair
All the time.
normally so, silky almost looking and very neat and tidy, is now a little bit bushed up. She's got a somewhat permanently affixed expression of just agitation. You make your way towards her. What?
Sword.
Better not be disappointing again. Huh. Sharper than mine. When we get back to Faisal, we can make it stay that way.
Yeah.
No.
Mm.
Do you want
Mm.
me to redo your hair? Courtesy of me, just so you can feel like a little bit better.
No.
No?
You can give me some food, But really you can't spare it, because if something comes along and tries to kill us all, we'll need you. I should have spared food for myself. I could probably kill everything better. You know what? You can give me your food, actually. That's a good idea I came up with. That would cheer me right up.
Alright, take it. It's all yours.
I don't want your pity.
And then no, it strokes off.
Yeah.
I wanted my food.
So, you back.
No, but to be fair, you've been doing all the rations and everything in the water, giving out to people and even healing, so I will give you my food.
She's not.
No.
No pity. Fuck off.
You try. Naïlo's not in a good mood, and you decide to probably leave it.
Alright, fine.
I imagine even Moxie's having difficulty now with talking to Naïlo as a proclaimed student.
If I'm cranky now, I'll just stop eating and I'll force you to eat. Then we can both starve.
Darling, you've got to still master that technique. We've got one more day to go. You got some distance to go with it. You haven't managed to catch the sword yet. You really think you can do that hungry? I may be starving, but I could still knock you out and force those rations down you.
Tyler, help me.
Dawn will go.
No.
Tempers are clearly flying. How about everyone leaves Naïlo alone?
Alright, good idea. Bye. I'm just gonna walk off to sheep.
So it's now on the spot. It's not. Assuming it's evening.
Well, you would know that was walking.
Okay, fair enough.
You keep walking. Probably taking the camel off with you. Or giving the camel to someone else and see.
No, she promised the camel would come back alive. It has to be under her watchful gaze.
And on the day where I think everyone... No. By the evening, which is probably ish when you arrive, or like midday when you arrive, you drank in the morning.
Mm.
No one else has... There's no water left at this point. So everyone's, even people who previously been fine, are not having to make con checks over it. But it's been a long journey.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And no one's particularly happy. You do see Faisal, and you come up to it about, let's go with midday. Not your favourite time to arrive. I imagine you're even worse than you were last night. It's midday. You currently have the highest working passive perception.
Toxic.
So you'll be first to see there's two figures in armour, catching light somewhat, come out of the town to greet the lot of you.
Hello. I can't greet them.
I'm gonna make a perception check. Ooh, actually, that's pretty good. Even with disadvantage, that is 15.
Okay.
Is it Arif?
Yeah.
Is it
That's
Sirahi?
our shield. It's not Sirahi. It's someone else.
Is it the slut?
This is
Well,
an
the
unfamiliar
cousin.
person. You don't know who that is.
Gonna wave to them.
Yeah.
Shield is raised in a...
I'll wave as well.
You can notice that it's not just a hand.
Mm.
No, it's like the outskirts of town, and the three of you probably come up to the front. Arif is wearing essentially what we call for the jewel as full greeting wear. And next to him is someone who looks... I mean, they're wearing also something across their eyes and the gloves. They're not wearing armour. Actually, only he's wearing armour. They're not wearing any. And they have a great axe. And they do have the symbol on their clothes, though.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to see you again, Arif. These people need food. I need food. Give me food.
I've got to finish describing the person, okay. The
No,
person
you
next
can
to
go on.
Arif is about his height, female, and has hair that they've got falling... They've got hair that's shorter than Arif's, actually, at the moment. And they look to be fairly similar. You can definitely see they're related. That I can do. I'll set some up in the main square. I'm assuming none of this is a hostile force.
Nope.
Great.
Your stab wound healed?
Yep. It's doing fine.
It's doing... She walks up and gives him cure wounds. Second level.
Well, the first stab wound was fine. But thanks. I won't look at me like that.
I'm looking at you like this because it's mid-fucking-day. And I'm hungry.
Want something for your eyes?
I want to be inside.
Yeah, okay.
Can I go to your place?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I'll sort out this and be along. You just go straight to his house?
Goes straight to his house, opens his pantry, and starts shoving dates in her mouth.
And I imagine you have some more food.
Yeah.
So you're raiding his kitchen.
Which I stocked, I should preface.
It's been like a week, he's had to restock it himself.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hi, Arif.
Yes, his aftermath walked off.
Yeah, for sure.
Tyler? You're on handcuffs, so I assume all charges against you are being dropped.
Yeah. It's even better than
You have a new sword.
that.
Mind if I see?
Yeah, sure.
Sword dancer. You serve illustrate too, then?
Well, I don't know. No, that's my mentor now.
That is certainly a change of events.
I could say that again. I woke up one morning, it just happened.
Should have been asleep, clearly. No doubt. You have a fair amount here, so I will, Izette, do you mind
Dagger, here's the dude that
going and telling the garrison that yes, this is not a hostile force, and that they can stop worrying? Well, I dealt with it. His cousin, who's got their arms crossed with a light sneer on their face. Fine. We will be having words later. Brilliant! My personal life's none of your business. And the decisions I make in Faisal, actually. Given that it's my job.
Family?
My cousin.
How long are they staying for?
Well,
Oh, fuck, I caused this, didn't I?
they're staying for the foreseeable future, it appears.
Oh, fuck.
Alright. Any reason for this?
Any reason for this?
I only got stabbed a couple of times, is it because of that?
I did. That was work-related and on the basis of past deeds. No, my cousin's in town for a couple of reasons. I can cover it better. We've got people to deal with.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
I'll start helping people.
Dagger, Sealy, this is the guy who committed high treason again.
Moxie, I'm gonna murder you. One day. For now,
oh, you
shut
brought
up.
people that you know. More tieflings specifically from your... Okay. What are the chances they're going to stab me?
Sealy, none at all. Dagger, keep your eyes open.
Right.
I'll
Love letting
make sure
hostile
that I
threats
do.
into my town.
Don't worry.
Dagger's only hostile if you're a man.
That is helpful, Moxie.
And of high position. If you're of high station, watch out.
Does Dagger have particular problems with royalty?
Yes.
This is...
Dagger, he's kinda okay, yeah. You like him, he
I'll
tried-
see that for myself.
Dagger, he put me in jail. You'll like him, Dagger.
Oh, Naïlo being here would be so handy.
Should we just
Put her in jail? You know, normally I'd be all for it, but
I did commit high treason against them.
well, it's a bit about putting tieflings in jail.
wasn't because I was
And someone who's female and clearly better.
I heard she explain this a bit better. She was fucking up a lot. And he had every right to. Not because she's tiefling, not because she's female.
Yes, because I'll take the your word for it.
I haven't done anything wrong. I've helped you.
It's fine.
That's why I felt stabbed you.
I'm just gonna hide my kidneys. I'm just gonna...
Dawn's pushes all of you useless aside.
I'll
Make sure everyone gets there and behaves in town. Shouldn't
this
be
is
any
a good
murders.
tiefling. She's very nice. Her name's Dawn. She's not like Dagger.
Moxie not helping. This is the good tiefling. There aren't any bad tieflings with us.
No, as in like she'll do good in your fighty people.
I'm gonna go...
I'll get everyone to the centre of town as well. He makes a brief greeting to the Carrington on the edge of the group Null in a series of barks and yips that you don't understand, and they respond similarly.
Hello.
Hello,
Bark, yip.
And he briefly goes over to see a fair amount of the humans, because a fair amount of, his men. So his soldiers go over and briefly exchange greetings, and the civilians. And so it's a fair amount of well-wishing, and this is it. Yeah. I take it Trek didn't make it then. Right. Do you know what happened to him?
I don't know. We kind of walked into a mine with Lord Vorham's head, and we just collected 2 of us left.
Yeah. Okay.
We
I-
also set Zonk on fire. Well, we didn't. Some people I know did.
I will have to get the full details of everything
They're
later.
not related to.
But you not need food and water. And he will create food and water. I think he can probably do it twice.
Yeah.
That should cover everyone.
Yeah.
And he sort of just, so, what happened? And you gather he gets a report.
Lord
So
Vorham's
made it
dead.
part of the way then. Must be killed on the journey. I will go see how Naïlo's doing. The rest of the garrison should be out. They're greeting their fellow soldiers and civilians, and the slaves are fairly warmly welcomed. You probably have some food and water out here, but if you want, you can go into Arif's house with him. It's up to you.
Yeah, we'll go to Arif's house.
He also gives a warning to Dawn and Gazelle. Whilst I certainly have no problem with your relationship, and it's not illegal, I will add that some people might. It's not generally that publicly accepted. Might want to know. I mean, it wouldn't be classified as hate crime because it's not protected under the law either. Just thought, it'd still be a crime if anyone were to attack you, of course. And I could probably get it on a racial basis, but I mean, my position doesn't make me exempt from the general social rejection it comes with. And he heads inside. Probably first you've heard of that.
I'm like, what?
I like men. A lot of people have issues with that. You were saying, he says, pouring himself coffee.
So, as I promised, camel, unharmed, but alive.
I risked my life.
That's
for
good.
that.
You didn't risk your life for that camel. I risked your life for that.
I can, yeah, how's that? I can plan.
That's...
We arrived in Vesper, found out that they'd been shipped over to Zonk. That's where we met 2 helpful tieflings, Dawn and Gazelle.
I made their acquaintance.
They're both good folks. That's where Tyler also managed to find out that they were going to make an attack on Faisal under Prince Fazarfu.
Yes.
So we decided to make our way over to Zonk, where Lord Vorham was, and kill him. We found that one's troop Sunrise. That's Sealy and Dagger. That's where they're from. Quite an extremist group. female only. Not entirely dissimilar from sword dancers, but a lot more hateful, I'd say.
Always lovely to hear that.
We also, stacking on the good news, Faisal's probably still going to get attacked by Prince Faisal. At least, we don't necessarily have proof for that. That's just my own estimation.
I imagine that he was trying to have to avoid doing it if he took my men hostage.
Perhaps.
But I imagine an attack will be incoming, yes.
Either way, the guy's a dickhead.
And also they've got undead. Any of your men who didn't return, expect to see them on the battlefield as corpses.
That's... Clearly I should be thrilled that my task for Tatil included getting some experience with undead. But, that's not good news.
Nope. But Troop Sunrise, not affiliated, did do a hefty number on Zonk, and it's going to take quite a while for it to recover.
We delayed.
I think that's what Celia and Dagger are here for. They want to have diplomatic chats with you.
Did they send diplomats for it?
Celia is our diplomat.
That should be the two who came.
There's the good
One of
cop
them
and
was
the bad
glaring
cop.
daggers at me.
Yeah, we got a good cop and bad cop.
I put in a good name for you with Troop Sunrise. I said that, well, I figured not all your men would be coming back alive. Faisal's going to need protection if it's going to be getting attacked. So if I could get Troop Sunrise on your side, that would be indispensable for you.
Certainly sounds worth it, even if I may find it to be slightly distasteful.
Oh, you should see Zonk. We got good firepower.
Firepower? I hope so many people weren't caught in the crossfire.
They were. Not good.
Slaughter of innocents, lovely.
Yeah.
The Ring of Fire, it has advantages and its disadvantages.
I don't... Right. We're going to talk about that later.
So that's...
Dawn.
Dawn.
Unaffiliated, Gazelle 2. There's a male tiefling with the rest of them.
Shield.
And Null too.
Dawn is very useful. Take from that what you will.
Has a favour for God, I gather.
Tempest. She disagrees supposedly with how a lot of people worship him.
There's elements you can take from it if you ignore some
Others.
It's mostly how gods get worshipped. I don't know if Illustre is more centralised.
Illustre is more or less just be a good person.
Oh.
Go out and help people. Be kind. That's why I'm not the best worshipper. Speaking of,
Yes,
I've taken that one
I noticed.
under me. Is there any legal way to take responsibility for all of her actions? I know it sounds stupid. Yes, I'm doing it anyway.
Well, I mean, you're acknowledging Moxie as your student, so long as you're willing to testify that in a court of law. I imagine should you ever run into trouble with the law, you get to share the consequences.
Share or take on entirely.
I'm fine with sharing.
They often
Sharing
amount
is
to the
caring.
same thing.
Sharing is caring.
Would depend what it was,
Right.
the
right.
specific nuances, who you're with, which region you're in. There's far too much variation in the law for me to give you any clear answer.
Sharing is caring.
Fair enough.
Certainly an interesting decision there.
And,
If I get called about high treason, I will have issues with it.
All I want to know is who is royalty. So
Don't.
I
Don't
Is
assault
that-
anyone!
and
And you can avoid it.
I'm doing my best to... Still a work in progress.
You never know. It might be self-defense.
I will make your life hell if my mother gets issues over your actions.
I won't attack
And I'm
anyone.
saying that very plainly.
I won't attack anyone. But what was if I need self-defense?
Well, self-defense is fine.
There we go.
Run. That always works.
It does.
But there is banishment on the table, and I am entirely willing to use it in that scenario. But you seem fine.
Yeah.
You've stopped glaring at me, which is quite nice. And Naïlo's vouching for you, so I will assume that's never going to be happening.
Finally, most importantly to me personally,
Of course.
sorry about telling you I'd kill you.
Yeah. Well,
That one left me a little bit suspicious of you, but really it doesn't quite add up if you think about it. Like, you'd just have me executed? I feel like that wouldn't be too hard to bury. So, my apologies.
appreciated. If I had wanted you dead, I wouldn't have healed you.
Pancakes would have been a good spot. Pancakes. That was bad.
I'm much more effective against humanoid combatants. Undead are slightly tedious for their lack of minds, but I have something that deals with it. I imagine you won't want to report on what's happened here since. But first, my captain, the captain of the guard.
Are they a Gotor?
Camel Toll.
Are they the one we...
You found a camel toll corpse that killed a griffin.
They're... dead.
I imagine so, since they're not here.
Probably dead. I can't put name to face. But we found
Oh,
a
no.
corpse with where the caravan was supposed to be, and a griffin corpse. So,
Well, at least you didn't go down with nothing then.
also, talking about things I've done wrong, how much of a problem has that little joke of mine caused?
I suppose you want to run up on what's been happening here then. Well, I mean, the first time, imagine you want to go. We've had preparations. You may have noticed on the way in, the tents that normally surround the town aren't here. Sirahi's evacuated the folk. She's not here. She was our apprentice, Trekanize. Same position. I cover Lawmaster, Captain of the Guard, and Servant of Tyr. I can apprentice under any of them, but we figured it'd be more efficient for recovering the same role, so someone can leave. But I imagine I'll be finishing that myself. No, she's got a fair amount of civilians out of town with making some preparations. Yes. It's been trying. I don't think I've, well, till you used it, I haven't actually heard my name in person. I get a lot of captains and cousin, and Dornoth's choices of address are always creative.
Colourful.
Colourful. But, for the most part, no first name terms. Rather welcome change to that. Someone broke into my apartment, that happened. Got so far as... I'm not entirely sure why they were there still. I didn't question them on it. Possibly resources, possibly an assassination attempt, possibly just crossing the border and wanting money first. Rather unimportant when someone's broken into your house and tries to charm you.
Really?
They got as far as... Well, I shake it off rather fast. But they're dead now. I didn't bother keeping them around long enough for a zone of truth. But I wasn't feeling particularly charitable.
Sounds like you're in a shit spot.
Well, I'm certainly not in any trouble for that legally. Aside from that, I've had my cousin turned up with a summons to the capital.
Right.
Which is ill-timed. I sent Siri and then lot off to a different town, not the closest one, because I didn't want to deal with Burtail. But my cousin, who currently presides over Burtail, was tasked with bringing me a letter.
Your cousin?
My
Burtail.
cousin, yes.
I got stabbed there.
Clearly didn't take it to legal proceedings. I mostly didn't want to contact my cousin Burtail because I knew they'd bring their priest with them. And I don't need to deal with a Fiddington-Hyde priest. Of course they came with their... Oh no, they came with just the letter. It wasn't sending help for aid, so the priest is not here. They brought their retinue and their personal guards started making me helpful with the garrison. Message from my parents, official summoning for at some point. My sister's engaged.
The one I want to meet.
The one you want to meet, yes. Apparently
Nope.
have to attend her wedding at some point.
That would cause problems. Never mind.
Clearly a perfect time for you to meet them.
Clearly.
No, I'll see. My Izette should be through at some point, I imagine. You're there to meet her. No, she came into town. It was, fairly well timed.
She came.
Izette came here. Donna's not here. She's in capital. She's been courting people. She finally figured out who she wanted to go with. Maybe now that she's found someone she's happy with, she'll stop yelling at me for ruining my engagement chances, and therefore she's to get married. No. So, we had a dark elf attack as well. Veyron's folk, apparently they were waiting for their allies, but got impatient. A fair amount of them just retreated.
I've had a run-in with Veyron and Tempest at the same time before.
Yes, it appears that they're allied with Prince Faisal. We've got one prisoner.
Ooh.
A prisoner.
Yes. I imagine, well, you said you'd want to see one.
I did. May I?
Certainly. I should sort out a reward for your job first, though, and that can be sorted out later. 60 gold for the two of you. Split it however you want. You might have an obligation to share it with Moxie now. Moxie's your
Nope!
student.
Not at all. She did wrong. Her life was on the line. You saved it. No reason she should get any of this money.
Alright, I got some
So-
money off the dead bodies.
So are we splitting it based off usefulness? Because we would have all died in the desert.
Yeah, but he did kill Vorham.
And I would have.
But he did.
As the person giving it, I'd imagine you split it evenly. Would be fair. Naïlo.
Roll a persuasion.
Okay, sure.
Advantage.
What's his persuasion modifier? I think it's high.
I hope so. I want that even split. Or if not, I take my even split. Excuse me. 30 for you, 30 for me. What can I say?
Get it on. But don't worry, I'll be making a persuasion check. Oh, wrong. No, wait. Oh, yeah.
Imagine his
I need to email not username. Fine.
Realistically, if he's got proficiency with it, he's not going to have more than +6, so just roll like D20
Sure.
+6.
He does have proficiency with it, I think.
Yeah, and it's probably +5 or 6.
That will be then a 23 or 24.
Alright. Fair enough, even split.
even split it is.
And I have papers to write up for you. I've filled them out, you just need to sign in. Do you want a signet ring?
Ooh, may I?
We'd have to directly petition gods, but I'm up for it. It's not too hard of a ritual. How active is Illustrate? Because you're going to need to be able to... It would require some recognition of your magic to work entirely, so you'd need some acknowledgement from her.
Right, well, she doesn't have a lot of followers, but the ones who do tend
Perfect.
to worship her quite a lot, so...
So we should be good then. I imagine we'll have to discuss what are general traditions of Illustrate when it comes to rituals, because we're going to have to combine them with tears.
Naked. Naked.
Can we do a high hunt?
Naked.
Can we do a high hunt?
I don't know what a high hunt is.
A high hunt is you find out about some local threat, usually a monster, and you go completely nude and track it down and kill it.
I'm up for it.
We're not going nude. I was scarred the last time we went nude.
Well, you're a
That-
sword dancer. Technically, none of us would need to be nude, but I would go nude certainly.
Well, I'm going nude, I'll go. Oh. Sounds fun.
Tyres tends to go with I'll need to wear specific gloves and something over my eyes. I'm willing to lose a shirt at least. Although that does give up armour.
I'll give it fun.
Single anchor shouldn't be too hard. Few anchors shouldn't be too hard. That's a ritual that is only usually performed once a year or so, or twice a year.
If we go for something less challenging, still requires some level of stripping then?
Not always. No, not always. Illustrate can be worshipped in many simple ways.
Yes, but what are the general tenets?
For example,
In the middle of the desert, under a moon?
that works.
That...
An even song is a song you privately sing to yourself to
Okay.
illustrate at night.
A high hunt... whilst I'm certainly up for going on one with you at some point, I don't think it would be quite compatible with what I have to do for rituals. when it
I mean,
comes to
I'm
singing
sure
praise.
Illustrate accepted Moxie, and really she's only really generally tolerant of accepting dark elves, since her whole doctrine is making a place for dark elves to live on the surface. I think she sees, I suppose, something similar in Moxie to that, even if it's not the same.
Well, whilst we can do high hunt separately, then I imagine various ceremony guard. You'll need to wear, if possible, gloves.
Can be done.
And just gloves. We can go out of town later this night and I will sort out rings for us then. It should be fun. You'll get to meet Tia.
Personally.
Well, via me.
Ooh. I probably shouldn't talk too much to him, should I?
You're first certainly free to say whatever you want.
Ooh. Alright.
Nothing too insulting, please. We don't need any by God.
I'm not going to...
Oh, I
Or-
certainly wouldn't let Tyre kill anyone with my body. There's a degree of consent to it.
Fight God and win.
Oh, I was a bit confused. He actually goes into your body.
Well, that's what becoming an avatar is.
You're an avatar.
The last bender. The last bender.
Not all the time. It's a royal thing. You can, at will, so far as the gods willing. I've not ever had any success with it in battle that I can recall, although occasionally I get bouts of possession. But for the most part, this general signet ring ritual, any royalty member can do it. It requires the same requirements. Why I thought your hunt idea was not necessarily something I'd combine with that.
Fair enough. And once again, High Hunt, since no one here is a dark maiden or a dark lady, there's actually no requirement to be naked. Once again, I will be, except for these gloves and whatever else you make me wear. But you're welcome to wear as much as you want.
I'll certainly lose something in regards as to combining traditions. No, I look forward to it. The rings they can turn invisible at will. You can turn them back. It's not a signet ring, but he makes a ring briefly appear in his finger before it disappears again. I certainly want myself a second magic ring. And it should give me, and you, an awareness of if the other is alive.
Ah,
And it glows.
handy.
well, it's if you flash a ring at someone, it tends to be a bit faster in the bureaucratic processes than paperwork. But here's on that.
Alright. What? What approximately does it say?
Make an intelligence check.
Okay. I'm used to reading legal documents, let me tell you. Traveling the desert. Pretty good. Just straight intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
Full.
This is a wordy legal document, and that's a space you can sign it in. And
Oh.
allies of...
Do I need my first name too?
Preferably, but
And
I
Moxie
put you
help.
down as sword dance and Naïlo on paperwork before, so...
Alright, I'll just do that again.
Moxie help, because Moxie knows her way around legal documents of being committed crimes.
I already signed it.
God damn it.
There you go.
Should have sorted it out. Now is it, can't complain about it. Yes, I imagine we'll be meeting Azette. Azette's in town, for the, well, dark attack, obviously.
How did she
Just
like...
happened to be in town a bit afterwards. Yelled at me a bit for getting stabbed. The
Naturally.
second time.
Do they like tieflings?
Azette, I don't know that Azette's dealt with many tieflings. Azette certainly won't commit any crimes regarding hate speech. I can't give you much more assurances than that, though.
That's fine.
You're entirely safe. In town, well, yes, I said for the letter, and also checking up on rumours. That. I'm sure, yes, I do apologise if Azette is slightly rude about it to you. If it does look like it'll be an argument impending, I would ask that you lot go out into the offices.
Alright, fair enough.
But aside from that, everyone outside should be mostly sorted.
If we go into the offices, can we snoop?
I suppose
Thank you.
if you need to, it should be fairly. You need to go, tragic. Oh well,
That's
yes,
just you.
that is Michelle's done.
Well, I mean, I can go home, clean, and then run away.
Tend to.
If you want. I mean, a lot of the stuff's not going to involve. Sorry, it's
no
interrogating prisoner. Ritual in the middle of the night.
I want to interrogate prisoner.
Well, that can wait till the next day then, for when you're back from cleaning.
Okay.
And we can do ritual in the middle of the night and cousin, in which you decide you're going to be decent and not overhear the conversation, and those two will be overhearing. So you go out, maybe check that everyone's being well received outside and sit in the offices for a bit, possibly clean your weapons, or you can probably get some of the blood off you, actually. Tyler's dealing with his hygiene.
Well,
And
once,
in the meantime, you two can...
yeah.
So Tyler's gone off to sort things out.
When he's gone, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna make my way quickly over to Tyler. Wager 15 gold on a duel.
No.
Oh, it's a lot of money. I think 10.
Now you have one. 30.
15. So yours should
34.
No.
That's all my money.
Duels? Wanting me to preside over that?
If you could. Yeah, of course.
So prisoner interrogation and a duel tomorrow. Moxie, you taking part? I've got enough healing
In
to
the
have multiple
interrogation?
bouts.
In the
No, the
interrogation?
duels.
No.
Yeah.
I want to watch.
Alright.
You know what happened last time I watched the duel?
Oh dear.
Can
Maybe
you
it's not a good
not
idea.
shout at us?
Yeah, it's called cheering you on.
You called that one a bitch. Not wrong, but
It's
Dinner
my
at the time.
nickname. I call people bitches. It's not derogatory.
You have to go.
Bitch.
Tyler probably recognises it as a lost cause and leaves.
yeah.
See?
Bitch, it's
Bye-bye.
derogatory.
I can probably only play for another hour if I start cleaning it.
Well, that's not going to be too long.
I need to go at 5:30. So.
Sure.
Okay, that's fine.
If we can get back, if not, we've got things to cover next lesson, like a duel, session, like a duel.
Next lesson. What do you have to teach
Session, they
us?
sound the same. Okay, so
Bye-bye.
it's at about this point that Izette comes in. I've sorted out your garrison for you. And I've done the liaison with your priestess. Given you're so unsuccessful at those bits. Oh, she hates me. That's not my fault. That's not your fault? It is not my fault that she took personal offense and therefore hates me. And so it's just like, you didn't break any of our laws, sure, but you did break their laws. Oh yes, the really great laws, says Arif. But not the discussion. Can we not have that again, please? People are in the room. This is Naïlo and that's Moxie.
Nice to see you again.
Hello.
I'm going to be frank. Is this the dark elf that you're apparently sleeping with?
I should clear this up. You're welcome to Zone of Truth me if you want.
Not my skill set.
Right, well, I thought it'd be a fun little laugh to give that perception. Didn't actually happen. I beat him up in a duel.
Heard about that one. Arif, she's a spellcaster? Arif's just like, yes. Yes is that I know.
Is there a reason he shouldn't be losing to a spellcaster? I like to say I'm pretty hardy.
Why didn't you inflict wounds her?
Yeah, I criticised him for that too.
There's really no reason to be failing that duel, Arif. But I'm not the one who you have to justify it to. I mean, your parents who are in charge of your training, you can discuss it with separately. I mean, Aunt Cecilia is going to be so pleased.
Well, as I was saying, it seems like it's going on a tangent. After I beat him in the duel, he was in a rough spot. We made this one's acquaintance. She wasn't quite so cooperative as she is now, are you? No, you aren't. So...
There's only one criminal record charge, that being hate speech.
Against me.
Against
actually.
a dark elf. Which is a crime we always prosecute for. What precedent have you set?
A good one. A good precedent. Anyways, I just thought it'd be a good idea for us to be in the same room while he slept. I had already rested up, so I could protect him from people who wanted to stab him and do him ill will. Of course, on my way out, God's scene may have played into the aspect of a temptress a little bit. I said something to the effect of, I did a number on him. Something to that effect. And he was really tired as a result. Which is true, but it was deliberately misleading.
Roll a persuasion check. With disadvantage.
I can attest I was there.
You went in the cells.
Ooh, that's not very good. 15.
I'm lying. I can attest I was there.
Right. It would be less convincing if you weren't. If you weren't Arif's type.
That's convincing if you weren't. Wait, I am.
Not Aaron. Arif.
Yes.
He likes men.
I don't have a preference, actually.
Oh, I thought you just like
Yes,
men.
Arif's preference is someone who can beat him in a duel. And has some sort of proficiency with weapons.
Ah.
Damn.
And is interesting in a way that his parents hate.
Arif, do you have a crush on Naïlo?
No, I don't.
Are you sure?
I am entirely sure. Do
Are
you want
you
me to
sure
bring up your
you're
crisis
sure?
again?
So I can't.
I haven't, clearly to your disbelief, is that actually kissed anyone in months. Do you want to roll insight?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I got a little thingy on my thingy. There we go. Okay, inside. 27.
You don't know Arif that well. He said it might be true. It might not be true. You don't know.
I believe him.
You
Personally.
believe him.
You're a denial lover.
Anyway, so these... Are those personal... Paperwork, Arif. Is that the paperwork? I think it is. You know... I don't. Sometimes I wonder how you keep making things worse.
Arif, I wasn't... Well, silly me. It should have occurred to me. Wasn't aware it was as problematic as it is. We can waive it if you want.
No, they've been signed. I'm fine with the decision, and as such, I'm free to offer allyship via me to my house to whoever I want, thanks, Izzet. And there's absolutely nothing legally that says otherwise. The two of them are glaring at each other. You gather they don't get on massively well, unsurprisingly. Anyway, so we're at Velaba. Information on that, related to this supposed succession crisis. What evidence do you have, and what do you know about them? You're from Velaba, I imagine you've more information.
What do you want? What do you want?
Everything.
Like, everything about Velaba?
Everything about the succession crisis, certainly. We didn't know the Queen was dead.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing.
Yes, there was a Queen.
Yeah.
Zereria, or something.
Yeah.
Had the pleasure of, well, I've met some of Verlavan royalty.
Yeah, it's just a shithole. The rightful... I gotta get the names out now because I forget names really easily. Yeah, there's basically 3 people in line.
That would be the Prince, Princess, and Prince.
Yeah. Prince number 1 is Yanam. Yanam is a tiefling, so many people are slightly disapproving.
I can certainly see why.
And then our princess, our lovely princess, saw a tiefling in it as the rightful heir to the throne and went, I can go for that.
Yenam crowned? Now this is an important distinction, because if he's crowned, then he's currently king, and the other two are simply causing issues. And that is very important for Ibatordo's political situation. You can roll a history check.
Okay. I just got to go back to my original page now.
That's Jan.
So a history check. You know I'm good at my history checks.
You can have advantage.
Yeah. That's 14. 14.
Okay, this was important to you, so you remember it.
Right.
And
Good.
14's not bad.
Good.
Janum was crowned,
He was.
and the other two are currently claimants, but he has been crowned.
So, the thing is, the other two heirs are arseholes, because Yanam, he is crowned, but the
he's
other two are
crowned.
just being so annoying, being, you're my tiefling, so I get it. Oh, but you're a woman, so I get it. Shut up.
That is interesting. Do you know who they're each allied with? We know that Veyron's folk are allied with Fazafu, who's a rather distasteful piece of work, really. I met him at a convention. Had a lot to say about what happened with you, Arif. Wasn't very pleasant.
Yeah, the guy, Faisal, I think there's some rumours about, like, undead, dark elves and stuff. So
Yes,
that's great.
certainly.
And our lovely princess.
There's rumours there's rumours that she is also allied with dark elves.
And a dragon.
Yeah, there's rumours that she's got dark elves and a dragon.
A dragon.
Yeah, a dragon.
Do you know which dark elves
I don't play
with the princess?
I would assume Not Veyron.
Well, Veyron's allied with Prince Faisal, so I imagine
Naturally.
whoever's allied with Leffel is not that.
Is my assumption. Are there any, like... Personally, I imagine that it's, Selder... Nope. What's his name? The spider fella. What's his name? They're all spider people.
Who don't know?
Wait, undead! Nope, that was Fazafu. Could I roll some sort of history, religion? Yeah. Coolio.
Religion.
A very good roll. Very, very good. 5?
That's odd.
We're so
Dark elves aren't Veyron's folk on the surface, making allies with humans. It's certainly not Illustrate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I doubt it's Illustrate. That's 2 probably knocked off. And you can potentially ensure it's not Lolth. No, you can't.
This is... well... certainly valuable information.
The one thing is, Lord Vorham...
Lord Vorham. He's an ability, isn't he?
Yeah. He was on Fazel's.
He sided with Fazafu, not the king.
Selvatarm, I just remembered. If I was to look anywhere, I would imagine Selvatarm first. If not Veyron. Then maybe Karansili.
Arif knew who they are. Yes, I covered Undercommon, I know who they are. Brilliant. You were saying something.
Oh yeah, Vorham... He...
rather major nobility as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, and he definitely, there was no way he would side with our current king.
Well, yes, I imagine not.
Um,
He said Vorham was dead, it doesn't matter. Nobility died. Brilliant. I suppose it's a 3-way civil war. Okay, so... this definitely needs to get back to the capital, and I don't think 25 words cuts it. Arif, you're off the front lines. Arif's like, pardon me? This is, not your province. He kind of looks over expression. Right, you two might want to leave for this bit.
is there going to be some shouting?
Of course not. Shouting could lead to charges of assault. No one would ever break the law here. Get out of my house, please.
Okay, I'm getting out.
Yes, Naïlo.
She was kind of like studying his face.
Do you want to roll the inside check?
Yes, please.
Go for it.
Ooh, really good. 12.
12. He just appears to be referring to what he said earlier, which is if there's any fighting,
Yeah, for sure.
leave. You go out. Do you want to overhear the talk now?
100%.
Great, okay. I've got an idea of what it involves. I should have both pointed it, but I wasn't entirely sure if that was going to happen off screen. Someone needs to get a message back to the capital, Arif. And, quite frankly, you're more of a liability on the front lines at the moment. Sure, they're undead, and you could certainly specialise against them, but if you get captured, you don't have any way of contacting the capital. Our response is, oh yes, because that's my fault. I didn't ask for the... The GS is not my fault. That's debatable, Arif. And I am willing to debate you on that. But it's certainly an impediment to your work, which I do disagree with. But in any case, it's a reason to not be on the front lines. They tried to take your men hostage before, presumably expecting you to be at this town given its rather public information, and the bit where, you know, as higher up in the succession, you're more of a actually effective hostage than I am. It's rather straightforward. Besides, you need it in the capital anyway to go see Dana. At least within the next month. Now it's fine to leave. And, well, with Verdicta, you're, let's say, as the only person of our family who clearly has a death mark on them, even if it's not officially recognised, your chances of getting out of a hostage situation remain the least certain. Especially if they decide that, instead of just, fighting a Vitordo, they'd rather give your head to Verdicta and get their alliance that way. On the front lines is not a good idea. Besides, you didn't hear the distasteful things Prince Faisal had to say. I would personally rather you not be anywhere close to being captured. Your Lawmaster, Captain of Burtail and not Faisal. If my men are going to be dying on the front lines, then I may as well be here to try and prevent as much of that as possible. Your ability to get people back on their feet is not as good as mine. This is rather established. Yes, I can't really. I can't use sending, you're right. But if they're intelligent enough if they've managed to actually capture royalty, they're intelligent enough to break all of anyone's fingers first. Or cut out their tongue. I don't imagine any casting is going to be on the table. And I have specialization against undead. And, quite frankly, with succession. The Verdictin bit I just can't fix. Clearly, you need to have a handle better on Verdicta, given that's your whole job at Burtail. Apparently letting people get stabbed in the streets, so I'm not entirely sure you're doing a great job. Besides, there's going to be Arif, there's going to be priests on the front lines. I know you're not going to be happy fighting with them, and quite frankly, they're not going to be happy fighting with you. You can't get through a single civil conversation with Dornith. Well, if you stopped calling me slurs, maybe I would. Besides, we'd work perfectly fine through most bits of having to tolerate each other. It's the least functional priest relationship I've ever seen with the person who's meant to be working with Arif. Is it really? Besides, there's that other reasons I haven't, You don't want to be a prisoner of war, and we know with your particular condition that is a particular danger, Arif. Am I not allowed to want to see you walk out of this relatively unharmed? You've been summoned to the capital. I'm in town and perfectly capable of running a military operation. It doesn't need both of us, hopefully. And if you get back and get permission, you can always head back out into the field again. Sorry, this is a lot of talking to myself.
All good. I'm taking copious notes.
My particular condition is also not my fault. And not something that is generally a reason I'd see to not try and stop the death of people. We've got innocents in towns. We've got supplies that if we go, we're going to have people starving nearby. I would really rather be out here doing relief efforts, preventing any invasions, and actually doing something, as opposed to sitting in the capital under house arrest. Fine, clearly. I'll repeat what he said then. You don't hear the next bit. Enough of a reason to not be on the front lines? I'll think about it. Oh, and in regards as to not being your fault and references, the Geas thing, that was entirely impractical. Necessary for the peace treaty, but I do at least certainly think they could have handled that bit better. The extra training, entirely brought upon you by yourself. And the other bit, I would say, on principle of what it does, I have very little issue. It's the bit where it's iffy interfering in punishment of someone else's royalty I have problems with. The only part of your problem with that is Aunt Cecilia ceding royalty's ability to decide their own punishment. That's it. Arif, don't be unreasonable. I can tell you're about to be unreasonable. It's Michelle.
Oh, I'm always unreasonable. Let it go. Spin.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, like that. And then
I'm about to finish talking to myself.
Sorry, I saw Michelle. She's walking back at the moment. So yep, then.
and then you go, meow cat.
Just
Spin. Look at that.
really, quite frankly,
Go on.
is it? I wasn't aware that that was your opinion, and I find that I'm no better off for it. Just get out. We can discuss it more later. I am not in the mood to deal with
Time to scram.
that.
Gonna grab Moxie by the arm and lead her outside.
You go first, time. There's been a significant pause and you're, getting your stuff together, cleaning up your stuff.
I have 15 minutes.
And those two come out looking like co-conspirators, essentially. And then Izette storms out. I'm off to the church, and leaves.
The church.
Go back in.
Arif sitting at the table.
Hello.
Naïlo,
Good chat.
it could have gone worse.
Would you like me to calm your emotions down a little bit?
No,
Alright, fair enough.
I would really rather you not cast on me.
Understandable. Two things I'm a little bit intrigued about. I did ask you beforehand if I could.
Go on.
What was this thing that they said to you that they weren't going to say to you? Missed that entirely.
That was Prince Faisal opinion on Fidicta and their laws.
Mm.
Apparently he thinks capital punishment is too light.
Dick.
A little bit.
You had another question?
I feel like that one's got a little bit more depth to it. But I won't pry.
I should certainly hope not. I'd rather not hear those. It's enough to want to not be captured, let's say. But
Fair enough. And what's this about a condition?
that I am certainly not saying in front of those two. And I am unconvinced. Maybe.
If you're not comfortable with it, fair enough.
I'll see. It's... Are you curious?
I am, but
You're wanting to know.
on a different matter. I think you both presented good arguments there. If you were captured, you can sending me, I can pass it along. That's potentially one argument. I don't think any of your family would buy it as a decent argument. But it is nonetheless true, and
No.
I would certainly report it instantly. But on the other hand, I don't really want to have you go dying. So, she made some solid arguments about tactics and you not dying, quite frankly.
I would rather be dying on a battlefield than go home and face my mother, but that's, I suppose, not really an option. You're wanting to meet Donna?
I am. If you leave, and your men die.
They will. Some of them will. That's undisputed.
You will never forgive yourself for it. I know that much. If you want to stay, I don't have a lot of influence, but I'll help you however I can.
Appreciate it, but I'll think on it. Where are the three of you headed after this?
Donna.
Well, you may want me to leave then. You don't exactly walk up and randomly get appointments with royalty.
I do if I have a signet ring.
You do if you have a signet ring.
Probably, I would assume.
But,
I don't know about these two. She's coming with me. He's got a pet or something to tend to.
I do need to get my pet.
you in need of coin or you fine for now? Suppose I can offer you if I decide to leave, temporary job essentially on the travelling to Dana, make sure I don't get killed. You're free to come along if I do go, but don't know if you were looking for employment. I don't have, well, my retinue's not exactly alive, so I have to deplete the guards otherwise.
Certainly. If you're going to die.
If I'm going, yes. Your pet, I assume that's going to be taking you elsewhere, or?
Yeah, we'll take me back to, Malaria, I think.
I have a question. I hope you don't mind me asking. You knew Lilith, didn't you?
Yep.
I thought I'd heard your name mentioned in regards as to the princess.
Mm. She was on my team.
I imagine the social repercussions of malaria aren't particularly pleasant.
No.
You have my sympathies.
Thank you. I don't. I only want to go back to my pet.
You're quite free to come along. Dana would love to meet a Dragon Knight. I assume wherever its lodgings are, it's being held safely.
It's being taken care of, but I do want to try and get it as soon as possible, but a job isn't a job, I can do this.
Well, if I'm going, you'll inform me in the morning, but you have a duel.
High hunt and duel not on the same day. Little suggestion from me.
Well, that's not a problem. I hunt for another time.
Darn.
I imagine we'll get rings, should the gods be, generous, tonight, and is it all of you who are wanting to talk to the prisoner?
Who is the prisoner?
The dark elf. Hasn't deigned to speak common yet. I know some undercommon enough to know when I'm being insulted.
Fair enough. I wouldn't mind. I don't know how much help I'd be, but I do get very angry sometimes.
Very little, you're human.
Fair enough.
Will I be useful?
I don't know. Maybe they have different styles for tieflings than to humans.
I could torture it with thaumaturgy.
I will
Don't.
say this
We're
now.
looking in a room.
If we need information from someone, we don't need torture to get it.
Just reading of ears.
We either get the information or, well, I suppose they die. Might die anyway, but may need to bargain with something. Hopefully you'll be more help than I am in this regard then.
I wonder if I should pretend to be I wonder if I should leave my sword here.
You'll set me free to leave whatever you want in a...
I could potentially make myself seem like a spy on their side. In what circumstances were... Oh yes, the attack from... Potentially. Veyron does have female followers. They're just few and far between.
Well, the one who downstairs is male. You could, And how exactly are you going to justify the fact I'm letting you talk to them by themselves?
Because I might get information from them. Well, more easily. Also, I want to. That's not very convincing, is it? Perhaps it could be said that part of the payment for the job, I mean, we did arrange the agreement beforehand that if you found a dark elf, you'd let me talk to them.
That should work. I'll unlock the cells. I won't be giving you a key, and you can go down.
Fair enough. Could I borrow one of your rooms for a second? Well, the keys are-
Certainly. I've not touched the spare rooms since you've been here,
Thank you.
and I've barely touched mine.
She goes in, and a little bit later she comes back out. The white sword is gone, and you can see the black sword's been moved to the scabbard where it can actually be drawn, and it isn't fastened in.
Follow me.
You need to get rid of that sword.
I'll bring them up into the courtroom after you've had 5 minutes or so, and ask them questions there.
Moxie is just like, I need to get rid of it.
Opens the door.
But it looks so cool and better.
Moxie.
Fine.
You can leave it on the table.
At least not near the rapier.
He goes down to the office bit, passes Meryl. Oh, we've got official business going on, Meryl. Information from the Dark Elf, and they set it up, would you? Yeah. Right. Unlocks it. All yours. You can now head into the prison bit. Door closes behind you.